What's up, geniuses? Welcome to For the Record. I'm your host, Rob Markman. Now, today's guest is one of the world's most talented artists, if we're being real. When he creates, it's with intent, and it's with purpose, and it's with love. His vision is unmatched. His voice is iconic. He just released Art Dealer Chic Volume 4, and now he's here to talk about it. The Grammy Award-winning Miguel. Welcome to For the Record, my brother.
Oh, man. Thank you for the kind introduction. How are you, man?
I'm doing really good, man. There's a lot of aspects to my job, a lot of Zoom meetings, a lot of just work and data analyzation. This is my favorite part of the job, speaking with musicians such as yourself, speaking about the creation around projects that we're excited about. So my day couldn't be going better, really.
Kind. Love to hear that you're doing well, man. And thank you again, man. It's really a pleasure. Really a pleasure. I love this show, so yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man. How about you? How have you been doing, man?
Been good. I've been man, just grateful. There's a lot of things we could look at and really hone in that maybe aren't ideal, but man, all in all, in a really good place, and just grateful to be able to wake up and get my mission on and be able to share it. That's like, honestly, over the past year, it's probably been the most consoling, bit of just knowing, being able to wake up and know that I can get up and still do what I love to do is a blessing, man. It's a real big blessing. So, yeah, just grateful.
And you can hear the love. And I said that in the intro, and I meant that you create with love. You create with intent, and you create with purpose. I feel like you're an artist that we don't hear from very often, but when we hear from you, it resonates. And I feel like we're embarking on a new era of Miguel right now. It's been a little over 3 years since War and Leisure, and this past Friday, we got Art Dealer Chic Volume 4. What did you learn in between that time?
Man, priorities have changed. Definitely a very different set of priorities that sort of inform the creative process. And, I think the way that we sort of receive music now is very different, and it changes, at a much more rapid pace than it has in the past. So it's been fun to figure out the best way to sort of prioritize and meet the demand. And I'm excited to sort of, to your point, maybe not be an artist that we don't hear from as often. I would love to, and I'm poised to sort of be more, just more off the cuff, and be able to share at a more regular pace. It's probably the most exciting part of sort of a newer frame of mind, a new mindset. So
that's interesting, because I always assumed, and maybe this is the case, that the way, because it felt like you dropped an album every 2 or 3 years, that was by design, that was your will, that was your intent and your purpose. So that was all by your choice previous, and now you're saying that you're re-examining and looking to possibly shift gears.
Totally. Man, I am a quality over quantity person. Just everything, like, I just try and keep things as simple as possible in my life. It just helps with the clutter. We just got there's already so much, so, I think my favorite artists, across all mediums, were able to really hone in on the things that mattered the most and amplify those things and just make them as purposeful and as potent as possible. And I really took that and really wanted to apply that to sort of the way that I created and what I released, even though I'm always creating. I need to sort of as like just to be able to think straight sometimes, just to create, at a much more voracious, I guess, pace. But now I crave being connected with people through the music. And I think that just requires a lot more sharing in real time, as opposed to maybe curating and, trying to design sort of a storyline is, so much. So, there's bits of that I'm excited to roll out. But then also I think just more real time sharing is the most exciting change or shift evolution in the approach now. Yeah.
Nah, that's interesting. That's dope, man. And I have to imagine your vault is crazy. Like, you remember back in the day when Nas dropped the lost tapes, and it was like
Yes,
all this stuff that we hadn't heard.
man.
I'd imagine that your hard drive is pretty nuts.
Man, it's a trip because we're like in the process of sort of moving and just coming across older hard drives. I mean, we have drives. I mean, aside from the fact that technology allows you to store so much more, but it's just the amount of drives that just have have art and ideas on them has been fun to sort of rediscover. But it also just in the same way, just there's a lot of opportunity to share. Just a lot more opportunity to share.
I do think about the vault from time to time and what your hard drives may sound like. But what I'm really excited now, Art Dealer Chic, the series really, I think, has been like a vehicle for you to set the course for the musical conversation that you're about to have with your fans. Like, it kind of whets the appetite, sets the tone. And it feels like Volume 4 is a darker project musically than we've got from you. And I was wondering what was kind of the inspiration of the driving force here.
Just wanting to peel back layers in a way that, allows the core art, my core fans, and then also, people who maybe love a song or two, to sort of grow into the tonality of what's coming. The Art Dealer Chic as a, series as a theme was always based on curation and just sharing sort of, again, to that point, like off the cuff kind of just viscera and whatever's inspiring me at the time and what I'd love to hear in a certain or given moment of time. And sort of revisiting that ethos, revisiting that mentality or motivation is like really freeing. And then it allows me to sort of, with time, kind of ease people into where we're going and in a really dope way, sort of gauge like what my fans really are reacting to, what they love, maybe what they have questions about that might inform the things that I can fill out in what's to come. So it's a really dope interaction that I have fun exploring in the past. And because this does feel like a different, just a little more of a different exploration than people would expect and my fans would expect. Yeah, it just felt like the right way of re-engaging.
Okay, so The Funeral is a record that we've gotten to live with for a while. Or Funeral, not The Funeral. The Funeral is a record that we got to live with for a while, and we got the video towards the end of last year, prior to this project coming out. And I feel like there was a lot of questions. I feel like the fans had a lot to say about Funeral. I don't know if I was ready when the video fit, but it felt like you went all the way from the bloody mattress to being up on the mattress and tied up to the mattress in that way. It felt like you were you just took it far with no inhibition on that one.
Yeah, it was fun to create that video. And, the director and our editor, Nina and Philippa, were amazing because I literally was just like, look, I need to introduce a tonality that's not expected. This is what this represents. And I kind of just started to lay out where everything is going. And they were just all the way down. And to be honest with you, like working with some directors at times, especially when they want to deliver something that, is impactful, but then also makes sense with whoever they're working with. Maybe some would shy away when I was like, look, I really want to go, I want to push the boundaries here of what's expected of me visually. And they were all the way down. And that was with purpose, it was done with purpose as sort of like a foreshadowing and I sort of like to do that in a weird way. It's just like, I know you think that this is what I should be doing or could be doing and this and that, but I don't know if I'm contrarian in that way, but I always just wanted to test what's expected.
And especially coming off War and Leisure, which was maybe because you've experimented musically with dark tones before, like so like this is like maybe nothing new, but more of an elevation or evolution of the sounds that you've already been experimenting with. But War and Leisure, in comparison, was probably your brightest project tonally. So it is like a stark contrast if that was the last musical moment that we shared with you.
Yes. Yeah. Well put and on point, which is why I love this show, because just, you love the music, so, and it shows in just the way that you listen. It's really appreciated. Yeah, the again, like, I'm a contrast is like my entire life, being of mixed origin, growing up in growing up the way that I did with two very different sort of upbringings all at the same time with my parents. And I feel like contrast has sort of been natural for me. I love to explore that. I love to exploit that. I love to highlight it and to throw people off, just to make things interesting. But more so because there's everyone experiences duality. And especially in a world where things are super filtered and people always are often putting whatever they feel is like their best out there, or it's a little bit of more of a curated idea of oneself that we're putting out there. I like to fuck with people's expectation, especially of me, and maybe sometimes to my detriment, but but the best part about it is that, you get to do whatever you want with art, and that's the best part. And then you identify the people who are really ready to ride with you, which is awesome.
Nah, and it's been dope watching the evolution, man. I remember being a fan right on with All I Want Is You. Just from that opening, doom, 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 and Salam, really kind of laced that. And I was familiar with that sample before. So just hearing it, my ears perked up. And then hearing how you delivered on that record. And then really taking that moment and where you are now, the evolution, it was like there was no way from that first record to predict where you would end up. And so it's been fun kind of watching you and listening along this way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Nah, you got it. I read something, and we're gonna get into specific songs, man, because there's some shit on here to unpack, right? But I read something where you said each ADC is an attempt to answer a couple of questions. What's the priority in my life? What new truth can I share? Mm-hmm. So before we get into really specific lyrics or specific songs, what is your new truth? Are you willing to share that with us in this interview? Like, what was the priority in the truths that you were looking to tackle now?
I think without giving it too much of a definition, because I think that's sort of the best part about art is that, you can let people define it for themselves and find the bits of themselves in the music that they can relate to. I think duality is probably something that I want to highlight, because again, sort of the way that we are with social media, it makes it hard to tell the whole story. We often get the highlights of people's lives, personalities, outlook, headspace, so on and so forth, because there's that like button. The proverbial, it's like, do you like it or do you not? And just with psychology, the way that works and how it affects a human being, we just tend to play to that, whatever is going to get us that. And I'm of the mindset now that, life isn't all about that part. It's so much more about being able to love those things that are likable about yourself, and then also like address the things that maybe you don't like about yourself, or maybe that that could use some upgrading or use some replacing. I mean, we get a new operating system on our phones damn near every 2 months now, and I look at my life sometimes and I go, okay, well, what's the operating systems how do we upgrade those? And so the music is sort of a real-time reflection of me trying to identify, you know, some of the operating systems, and bringing everyone along with me, because I think that's where we start to realize like we have a lot in common. You know, I deal with A, B, and C. Maybe you deal with C, D, and E or whatever, but we have some commonality, and that's the best part about music for me. I'm being able to connect with people that I just never would be able to connect with. So that's sort of a sense of where it's going.
Now, so and I feel that, right. My favorite song on the project, the one that maybe I resonated with the most, is "So I Lie."
Man, it's dope.
That just felt very human. The hook, and as the audience is listening to it, obviously you know what the hook is, but so I lie to myself. Let's be real. I'm afraid of how I feel. I feel like at some point in our lives, or even multiple point in our lives, we've all kind of lied to ourselves, or convinced ourselves that we were feeling something. We were feeling happy, so we put a smile on when deep down you're feeling sadness, or whatever. What made you write this? What was the light bulb moment when you said, "Yo, this needs to be a song. I have this and I need to express it"? What triggered that?
You know, you never know how if it'll really mean anything to anyone, or if it stands out at all, and takes meaning. And so that I appreciate that. Again, I think it's just probably the contrary. I'm just looking at like I want to connect, you know? I think, and I hate sometimes that I don't want to make this too serious, but just the reality of it is like, even if I'm sad and I'm with someone, if I could be honest with them and we can share some honesty, that gives levity. You know, it helps me. It like, even if it's just listening and there's just some understanding, there's empathy there. I feel like the sharing one is cathartic. And then the whatever point of commonality, whatever insight I can get, or encouragement, or just the support alone is like, that's humanity right there. You know, that's humanity. And like, I think what I'm searching for in music is what I often give in my music. If I'm looking for that, then that's probably what's coming out of me. So I don't necessarily know that it was like designed that way. It's just that's what came out. And because it felt so natural, as afraid or reluctant as I may have been to be like, man, they don't want to hear this, you know, I just was like, but is it real? Is it honest? Going back to those questions that you sort of highlighted, is like, hey, what's true? We need more of that. With so much information and no clarity on what's real or not, I crave the truth. And so I guess I just been on what is the most true I can share.
If you're down to be vulnerable, I'm also down to be vulnerable in this, because I want to ask you a question. What's a lie that you tell yourself, or that you have told yourself?
I'm a good leader. I lead well. I've been a bad friend. You know, I haven't been the best friend at all times. You know, there's been times in my life where I just wasn't the person to really be there. I couldn't even be there 100 for myself. I'm processing a lot of change, a lot of different sorts of energies with different motivations, where I was trying to figure out what the priorities were, you know, and that in some ways made me absent to, you know, my relationships. And I just straight up, you know, I couldn't even really be all the way 100 with myself. There was no clarity. I was just trying to figure it all out. So yeah, there's definitely been those times. I'm happy to be able to look back on it and be like, no, like we upgraded that. We did the work to get to a place where it's like, that doesn't happen. We don't repeat those mistakes. But unfortunately on those ones, I would have much rather been this version. You know? Yeah.
I'll share one with you, and just
Yeah.
what
I
this
was gonna
made
say,
me
I was like, is there
nah.
anything you?
Man of my word, is just being
Yeah.
in this industry, and I think maybe you can experience this, and then maybe even on a larger level. I don't know, but you come into it with good intentions. You make relationships. Me being in media with artists, with label people, with whoever, right? And your contacts and your phone gets longer, and your Instagram pics that there's more people, and we tend to think of all of these relationships as friends. Oh yeah, that's the homie, that's the bro, that's the, and I've had to learn that like this is somebody who maybe I interviewed or who I admired, might be a friend, might not be a bro, might not be a sis. That and to really evaluate the relationships for what they are in the music industry, a lot of them are transactional. You know what I'm saying? Relationships, and what that ends up doing. Oh, I think the positive spin of that, because that sounds dark and sad at this point, right? But the positive spin is that your real friends in your real life, it makes you hold them closer and cherish those relationships. And you can still build on your work relationships as well. And those can be positive relationships, but really learn what friendship is and cherish friendship and uphold that. And so the lie to myself is sometimes posting a picture on the gram with an artist you might interview and be like, yo, this the homie. It's like, yo, we just met. We sat for an hour. I fuck with him. He's cool. The music is amazing, but I don't want to oversell this for the gram and shit like that. So that's the lie to myself. So
Trust. It's easy to do, It's like you want to end. It's a great point. It is. The reality of it is, I mean, life can be that way. In the same way, I think we're saying sort of the same thing. It's just like the transaction of things and trying to understand where people are coming from. Sometimes we want to think of it in the best way. We would prefer it to be that way. Reality,
And one thing I just want to highlight this verse again, because I want to go back, because obviously is the song and the way it makes you feel, right, as a listener. And I heard you before. I actually heard the song before I saw the video. So like I connected with there. The video is dope, and we'll talk about that. But your storytelling, your pen, the way you paint a picture, even without a video, right? I could barely breathe, treading water, smile on my face while I'm turning blue. Like I could see that. I could literally see that, right? Nobody cares, just work harder. I do what I can to avoid the truth. Laugh and the world will laugh too. Cry and the world laughs at you. Like, dude, just those words and the picture that you paint and the storytelling in that is phenomenal. You know what I mean?
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Man, it's listening to like favorite writers. Biggie is one of those people. Every line is a description. There's an image. The detail is vivid. I love when I can sort of take what I've learned from the greats and apply them in songs. And yeah, that's that feeling.
Yeah, Biggie might be my favorite storyteller. Scarface is up there for me. But Ghostface, but Big, I always appreciated. He always gave his characters names, right? There was like Gloria from Astoria, Arizona Ron from Tucson, Dark Skin Jermaine. Like you can go to any hip hop head and you'd be like, "Yo, Dark Skin Jermaine." They'd be like, "Oh, he wore suede in the rain." Like it's these great things that happen, man. And,
yes,
and I think you're a storyteller on that level. Let's talk about the video for a second. You talk about the dead frogs, this recurring dream, and dead frogs representing the end of a cycle and the beginning of something new. And we see you just going about your day. I'm gonna ask you a question because I saw flashes of a baby in the video and children, and I'm like, is Miguel trying to tell us something? And I don't know if you're gonna answer that.
That's a just gotta stay tuned on that. But I'm definitely, there's definitely there's a purpose. Everything there is like for a reason. And even the way that it's shot, is like, I guess I love beautifully produced, well produced, film, videos and this and that. And then sometimes I just like, same thing with music. Love music that's just pristine. Sometimes I just want it to feel like I'm right here. Like, it's like, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of the boundary. Like I feel like I'm craving things that feel like it's just me and you. We're just having a conversation.
And that's what kind of prompted the question about your real life, because this video is very different from Funeral. Where Funeral, I could tell this is expression, this is over the top, this is playing a role, this is well curated artistic imagery, and not that So I Lied isn't artistic, but the style that is shot, we're over your shoulder so much of the video, we're following you around throughout your day, and seeing that, it just felt more real. It felt more like a documentary than something. You know what I mean?
Yes, yeah, totally, man. Yeah, just the real life. Like, what's real? I mean, I trip out so much on like, give me something real now. Like, I'm craving. It's like I still love Del. I don't know if you got Del Taco. You guys don't have Del Taco. You're on the East Coast, right?
Yeah, we're on the East Coast.
Okay,
we just got Taco Bell out here, dog. We don't got Del Taco. I'm familiar with Del Taco, but
well,
we don't
pick
have
your
that
favorite.
here.
One of my favorite, spots. You guys still got Five Guys. I still enjoy a good, my spot. Like I love a Del Taco chicken taco for whatever reason, or their breakfast burrito. I fuck those up. You know what I mean? Like, don't catch me on a long night, which never happens anymore. But I'm just saying, I love it. And I think there's time for that. And I just feel like I'm craving soul food. It's like I want the arroz con pollo. I want the jerk chicken with the plantains, with the rice and peas. I want you know what I mean? I want my nana's cooking, rest in peace. And I feel like in music, it's in the same way. It's like, just give me something real. I crave that. How can I give that to my fans? Every time I come to this room, I think that's sort of what's on my brain. So, yeah.
That's dope. And we appreciate that, because so much, I think, of the music that we get, and this is not a generational thing. This is not to bash anybody, but it's to follow an algorithm, to be able to fit on a playlist, to be able to, and not necessarily to, and some artists, it's smart business, right? But some artists will compromise this feeling that you're talking of just to fit in, and then others, stand out, or at least put that realism over fitting in. Hey, even if everybody doesn't get this is real expression. And I think you've been able to balance both, because you obviously gave us hit records before, and then records that we could connect with. We're gonna get some trifling shit a little bit, man. When we talk about painting pictures, Triangle Love.
Right.
He loves you, he's my best friend, but you love me. You're just stuck in between this triangle love.
Man.
Yo, that record is fucked up.
It's fucked up.
You go into, because you paint the picture and you go into the emotions of it. Where do you pull this from? Like, where does this come from?
Man, this is like a worst nightmare and a lot of this is like tapping into, the things that I've seen, growing up with my friends, the things that I've heard of. And in this industry, like, you get privy to like certain things that happen behind the scenes, because, you're friends with certain people, and, not too many people you can confide in. So this is a little bit of tapping into like all guys' worst nightmare. You know what I mean? And in this story, I sort of am playing. I'm a bit of every character. I'm narrating. I'm the best friend. I'm also the person. I'm all of it. I mean, in this story, I just went to like, what is the worst nightmare? Like, what is the most? You know what I mean? Well, how dark can it get? And just pulling from conversations I've had with my guys, man, and even some of our homegirls, just like, wow, what's real? What's really dark?
Yeah, no, it's super dark. It's gut wrench. It's really like, when you think about love and relationships, like, it's the bottom, it's the pits. It's like it's the depths of, and you close it with And if you didn't clear the sample, we'll edit this part out. So you
Oh
can just
no,
let me know.
man! It took so long to get it. No, you can go ahead and we did all of the due diligence for that. Yeah.
I'm sure I would expect nothing less. But from the 2004 movie Closer,
Closer, yeah.
Closer. I mean, with and you took this scene. There's this really gut wrenching scene with Clive Owen and Julia Roberts, and he confronts her cheating on him, and then at the end tells her, just fuck off and die. Like he's asking all of the detail, and it's so funny because as a man, I don't know if you could relate, but
that's
that
why
we
I
crave these details.
I want to know. Tell me everything. Did you do this? Is this what you did? You like that, huh? Did you like that? Okay, great. All right, thank you. That's all I needed. Now fuck off. Yeah.
I don't know why men did, it just look, man. If I may, listen, the number one question, men can sometimes excuse cheating. It happens like,
did you come?
No. Did you suck his dick?
Oh,
is the question.
Man.
Like that
definitely.
question. And
she said we do everything. She said we do everything people who have sex do. I was like,
right.
But yeah,
it was funny though because she asked, and this is what is it? Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. I probably fucked that up, but the difference between kind of men and women, where she straight up asks him, "Why does it matter?" And because I'm a fucking caveman.
Yes.
But it hurt. It hurts.
For me, like the trippy thing is like that's where the difference and the similarities converge. That question, did you come? Because I don't know, for whatever reason, my understanding, conversations with obviously my wife, conversations with our closer family, friends, blah blah blah, like that's like it requires such a mental and emotional like freedom. So when I say that, I'm like, if it was me, I want to know, because I want to know how deep this is for you. Like, is this like, are you really all the way out there with it? Or is this just like, I'm trying to fill a gap? The whole thing is such a fucked up story, but it feels good. That's the fun, the best part about, and that's probably, I'm sort of coloring this because it's my bias, but again, the contrast, like wanting to find that what feels good, but then let me tell you something that's maybe doesn't feel good to say, it's like, how do we meet that? Same thing with So I Lie. It's like, the movement, the rhythm of the song, is very, summertime. This is like, okay, everything's open up. We can move to this, but the storyline or the, the lyric is a contrast to that. So
who picked that movie sample? Was it you that was like, we have to use this?
Gotta use it. Man, absolutely. I went straight to that scene. Straight to the scene. And the crazy thing is that there's parts in there. I mean, the song sounds great without it. And for whatever reason, I think we had just been playing with the song. And the song is like, Dave Siddick and I produced this song together. Dave Siddick's from TV on the Radio. He's like brother. He's like a brother of mine, a mentor. He's a sage. You know what I mean? He's just like magical dude. And just a wizard in the studio. And this was an off the cuff groove for him. He played drums, played the bass, and I just took it and added the synths and then obviously wrote the song. And it was already a solid song. And I just, man, that scene, I was like, oh, that scene would be so perfect here. And it's kind of the perfect cherry on top.
Yeah, no, it really fits. What other producers are you working with this go around?
So I Lie is 1985.
Man.
From the whole OVO,
That's my guy. Oh,
Man.
See, I didn't even know that, and he's one of my favorite producers. Listen, man, I think he's amazing, and so it just makes sense.
Love, yes, he's a beautiful human being. He's just a dope person. And the music is such a reflection of him. The crazy thing is, like, he's so nonchalant. Everything is just like, oh yeah, it just happened to be fire. But everything he does is fire. So it was a pleasure. And we started that a while back. And the song's taken a couple turns in terms of like the production. I'm happy we got here with it. And then Thinking Out Loud, the third song on the EP is Justice, who I met as a player. He's a guitar player. And he's done work on a couple other projects, but he's never had a full, where he's primarily doing the production. So it was really dope to kind of start to bring in new talented, new really, really like killing musician producers. And we'll continue to do that. So big shout out to Justice, man. Really proud of him. Because that beat is crazy too.
Yeah, it's the Thinking Out Loud is a beautiful song, right? Because it's really this endearing love song, and to me, in my interpretation, it's this push and pull of like living in the moment and being completely happy with the moment, but also wanting it to last forever. Even the song lyric of how long will it last is like, to me, sometimes I'm like, why would you even ask that? Just live in it. Like, just make this moment your forever. There's that. And then there's this like bridge section of it that feels like timestamped and rooted in what we collectively experienced in 2021. You start to hear the whispers of a mask on, Black Lives Matter. And so we kind of get this forever love song, but also rooted in our current reality. And that was my read. You could feel free to be like, dog, that's not even what I meant or what I tried to do.
I love it all. I love it. I just love that there's someone out there listening to the lyrics. It means something. I appreciate it. Really, really. Like truly. Yeah.
But I rambled on. What were you trying to get at with Thinking Out Loud?
Yeah, Thinking Out Loud is exactly that. It's just like a stream of consciousness. I literally and actually first time doing a Zoom session. This came out of a session I did with Sarah Evans, who's an incredible genius writer. Very rare for me. First and foremost, in terms of lyrics, I've always been of the mindset of an MC and being very like, I write my own lyrics. It's like very much like I write my own raps, man. Like, but I'm not a rapper, I'm not an MC. But I come from that, I come from that ethos and the respect for the craft and craftsmanship. But it was really, really a joy to work with Sarah Evans, man. And I think this is at a point where this is summertime last year. We're like months in to quarantine. We're trying to do our best to just accept things for what they are. This is height of, protesting for, all of the injustice happening, but specifically, George Floyd's all of that stuff is like really capitulating and turning into a real movement, which was really, really awesome to watch and to be a part of and to see and to go out and to like be able to like feel this energy and to see, little kids with like, is my life endangered, posters, and to really feel that and be in the middle. So we're sort of processing this thing and trying to figure out what I can do and be as an artist that helps anything. And for whatever reason, just every line is just like it's very double entendre. How long will it last? And I'll just say that. But, even the line, sometimes you got to fall back just to move forward, is like the most distilled version of, I think, a lot of what I could say is my perspective on everything right now is that, you, and Jay-Z said this. Jay says, you can't heal what you don't reveal, That's off of 444. And so I just feel like there's a lot of healing that needs to be done. You can't do that until it's, certain things are addressed. So, in the ethos of what's happening in society, globally, here locally, and there locally, we're just starting to see the realness pop out. And I feel like this song is a little bit of a trying to enjoy life while processing life in real time. So.
That's interesting. I appreciate it. You're gonna make me go back and listen to the record again. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because now I'm like, okay, I heard it but maybe I didn't all the way hear it. Maybe I heard it on one plane and it exists on two planes or multiple planes or whatever.
I
And
love
to me,
it.
some of the best records, especially when you talk about writing as an MC or having an MC's approach to your writing, I feel like my favorite hip hop records, you don't get on the first, like you had to rewind that. Like, wait, what?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Or catching a line. Like one of my favorites is when Jay said on Lyrical Exercise, Jigga Man is Diesel when I lift the 8 up. And it was like, oh, that's fire. And then years later, you're like, oh, Diesel, Shaq Diesel, Kobe won number 8. Like, that's crazy.
Lift the 8 up, man.
So it's shit like that. And I love that about your music because I do feel like with each listen, you get a little something different or the clouds open up and stuff like that. So that's amazing.
Man, thank you.
Winding down real quick. Since we last heard you, right? You got married. You're a married man now. You married your longtime love.
Yes.
Has that changed your artistic expression, or like, do you go into it differently, or has it not really changed at all on the artistic side for you in creating?
I think it's probably more empowering in a lot of ways. I think the sort of being able to, like, I never wanted to beat goals. I'm not. I think as you play with fire when you put a relationship out in the forefront too much. It's been fun to find our balance, what feels natural for us. When I come into the studio, when I come to create, though, it's been really freeing to be able to be like, I have the peace of mind that I have a partner. So I don't necessarily always, I can get to my like, okay, how do I be great for that? How does Miguel be great for Miguel as a human being? Because that directly affects how the rhythm we have, I think sort of the process of even the music that's coming out of me is a bit of a reflection of me having the bandwidth to get to the tangles, and to just be like, oh, like, let's like peel back this layer and like, this stone been unturned for some years. Let's see what's up under there. Let's get to some things that maybe we haven't shared before because I have the bandwidth now. And I don't know if that makes any sense, but feels just, my focus is lifing. That's probably what it is. Like, how do I become the greatest version of myself as a human being and of service, and as a man, as a leader, as a husband, as a friend, as a brother, as a son? Like, what are those things? My romantic relationship and what I do in that area of my life may not necessarily be top of my mind like that, to share. I sort of get that. I got that, and we get to do that on us. You know what I mean? Like, that's our thing. And I want to protect that. Doesn't mean that I won't write love songs or that I won't write sex songs or fucking songs or, you know what I mean? Like, this still gonna come out of me. That's natural. I just know that I'm a dope human being. I genuinely believe that. And I have like, I have potential to even be doper and to give more and to be of more service. And I feel like that's exciting. That's what's dope. That's like next level for my career is like deeper connection with my fans. And I think it just requires a more human sort of conversation. So it starts with the music,
So that ties back exactly to what we were saying in the beginning about you wanting to be maybe more frequent and just more connection with your fans through the music. That's dope.
And I say the whole dope thing, like, I just feel like it took a long time I have to preface this because it's not coming from like an ego place, it's like, it's more of like believe. And that's like Art Dealer Chic at its core, is like, we all have to sort of do, I want to inspire the people that give me their time to do whatever work it takes to believe in themselves, because you deserve it. You deserve to believe in yourself, that's gonna get you to your happy place, to your fulfillment. And I've seen glimpses of it, you know, the fact that we get to be on this call. You love music, you do this on a day-to-day basis, bro. It took work. You didn't just get here because you like, you know what I mean? Like, all right, I just wanted to do it and someone just gave you a shot. You worked hard for this. But to do the work every day, it took belief, like a deep-seated, like, you gotta believe, like, I have something to offer. Like, I got something to give you. And I love that I get to watch it, you know, and I get to experience it. So everyone deserves that feeling.
For real, man. Look, I used to work in the mailroom, so
Bro,
this shit is like
I love it.
like,
I see.
you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like I came from the mailroom.
yes.
I hate this question, and I rarely ever ask this question. Don't be afraid.
No.
Somebody just dropped a new project, and you know how fans would be like, "Okay, when's the next one coming?" It's like, dog, I just dropped this shit.
Right.
In the case
Fair.
of Art Dealer Chic, I always feel like Art Dealer Chic is a setup for something, in an intentional way. So, I mean, we can assume now that we have Volume 4, new album on the way, like that's in the pipeline, that's coming, that's in the works.
Man, I sort of to your earlier kind of as you were alluding to just the drives, like how many drives in the vault, and I am certain that this is not the only thing coming. I guess that's the best way of saying. Like, you know, I'm certain that that fans would be very pleased with sort of what comes and the amount of what comes. You know, it's been a long time coming.
As you continue to release music, as you continue to create with your intent and your purpose and to deliver your expression to us, you're always welcome here at Genius. You always have, speaking with you is one of the great pleasures that we have. And you've been on a couple of our series on Verified and now For the Record. And as much as you're willing to share, we're willing to help transmit to the world about the purpose behind your music. So thank you for coming through, man. And thank you for sharing with us.
Man, I appreciate the time and the platform and all of the good stuff. And I can't wait to do it again, man. I can't wait.
I'd like to thank y'all for watching there. You know I'm in the comments every episode, so let's talk about Miguel this week. Get in those comments. Let's talk about Art Dealer Chic Volume 4. Tell us your favorite songs, your favorite lyrics. We're going to talk about Triangle Love, too. I have a feeling the comments is going to go crazy for Triangle Love. And we just going to have a good time. I appreciate y'all every time for watching For the Record. Peace.